Hello to you then, welcome to Campaign Chronicles. It's our daily look at what is going on in the French race for the presidency. But today it's not any of the candidates campaigning who grabs all the attention in French politics. It is in fact the Interior Minister Claude Gueant. He's been accused of racism after a comment he made on Saturday. Elena Casas here with all the details. Elena, what's all the fuss about with this one then?
Hello Stuart. Well, not all civilisations are equal. That's what Interior Minister Claude Gueant said to a group of right-wing students on Saturday, and he sparked a lot of anger and outrage in all sides of the political spectrum, really, after saying that. Here's what the socialist Arlem Desir had to say.
The Interior Minister's words are not worthy of a Minister of the Republic. They echo what Jean-Marie Le Pen used to say about the inequality of races. What we would hope to see in the Interior Minister is someone who serves all the French people, not someone who visits extreme right fringe groups to make senseless remarks about the inequality of civilisations. Being behind in the polls doesn't justify everything.
He's not the only one upset either, Stuart. Libération has a whole range of reactions for people speaking out against that, not just people on the left. The centrist François Bayrou said his remarks were unfortunate and inappropriate, and that there are things that aren't ideal about Western civilisation, of course, that we should acknowledge. And people within his own UMP have also been apologising for him. The Foreign Minister, Alain Juppé, basically apologised for Gueant's remark, which he said was off the cuff and not typical of the party's policy at the weekend. Now, he's not, of course, the first time that he's come out with this sort of remark about immigration and Islam. He's got quite a reputation for it. Le Parisien today has done a roundup of his most controversial remarks of the last year or so. So back last March, he said that French people no longer feel at home in France because there are too many immigrants. He also said that France was carrying out a crusade in Libya, which of course is a very historically controversial word. And he said that 2/3 of all children who drop out of school in France are the children of immigrants, which is not in any way backed up by statistics. So he's getting quite a track record of this, and he's being accused, of course, of campaigning for Marine Le Pen, of borrowing her discourse, borrowing her ideas, and campaigning for her, really. The Nouvel Observateur has quite a funny article here, which is headlined, "What is the point of the unbearable Mr. Gueant?" Basically, they say that while this might be quite unsavoury to the vast majority of French people, it fulfills a kind of convenient campaigning goal for Nicolas Sarkozy, because this way he doesn't have to directly appeal to far-right voters himself, but by kind of stealing the far-right's rhetoric, the Gueant helps win them over. And that might be more relevant than ever in this upcoming presidential race, because it looks like Marine Le Pen might have trouble getting herself on the ballot. Remember, she needs 500 signatures from France's local mayors, and she says she hasn't got them. So if she doesn't stand, it will of course benefit Sarkozy's UMP, and that might be what Gueant is thinking. That might be a deliberate, if you like, way to win over those voters. That's certainly what the Front National themselves think. Here's what their Vice President Louis Alliot had to say about Gueant's remarks.
It is undeniable that he's calculating how best to win over Marine's voters, should she not be able to run. At the same time, he's using the same language, talking to the same electorate. You know, we're not dupes. The French are not dupes.
So any humble pie then, Elena? Has Gueant apologised after sparking all this controversy?
No, quite the opposite, actually. He fires back in today's Le Figaro. They've interviewed him, and he says not only does he not regret anything that he said, but he basically says it again. He attacks the idea of multiculturalism, saying that on the left, politicians seem to believe in what he calls moral relativism, whereas we should actually recognise that in Western civilisation we have some values, like democracy and women's rights, which, according to him, are superior to the alternatives in other cultures. So he actually says multiculturalism is in itself a bad thing, which in an English or American context would really be a shocking thing for any politician to say. So you can see there really that the frame of reference in France is a little bit different. Slate, though, is asking whether it's just him who holds these views, or if he's actually voicing what politicians across the right wing secretly think but are afraid to say themselves. They actually think he represents an entirely new sort of ideological direction for the French right. They say he's actually nicked a lot of his language from the American neoconservative movement. Remember when George Bush went to war in Iraq, a lot of people close to him talked about a clash of civilisations, about the West versus the Islam world, and they say he's reappropriating that discourse and putting it in a French context for the first time.
Summing it up, that's today's Campaign Chronicles here on France 24. Elena, thank you very much, and latest news coming up really shortly. Jean will be here after the break. Stay with us.